It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot like life. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot like life. It's a lot. 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 It's a lot like life.
Oops. Sorry about that. I am... Oh, there we are. Here at last, here at last. Okay, let's take this down. Oh, yes, you might notice it's back at the old desk. As it turns out, I tried my very best to get correctly set up at my normal desk back there. but this back pain is, well, it's nigh on unbearable, really. And so I found this one comfortable place to sit in one comfortable way, which doesn't make me feel like I'm getting snapped over fucking Bane's knee. So that's fun. Anyway, tonight I have a guest. Wow, yellow as fuck. Looks like I got fucking jaundice or something. Let's fix that. Oh, that's why. Well, alright, fine. There we go. That's a bit better. Oh, good, and we're still live. How's it going, Sean Ma? Welcome, Jable Spoogly. Hello, Dirty Kid. And I'm just jumping into it because, honestly, trying to set this show up while periodically wincing every time I moved in a certain direction prior to applying multiple shots of whiskey to the problem. I decided tonight we're going to do more of just a casual interview show. In fact, Mondays are typically the casual throwaway shows anyway. But all the same, it's someone I've been waiting to speak to for quite a while, and now I have the chance. There we go, live again in Discord. Darkmatter 2525 is with us, hence the cartoon.
Hi, how are you doing?
No, that's I'm actually just gonna tune you down a little. Is it raining where you are?
No, my kid is making noises.
Oh, so you should have just said it was a hurricane. I'd be fine. Now it's a child. Like, no, ooh, goddamn, get rid of it. Like, come on.
I can't. That link isn't working for me. The one that you sent me for Twitch. It says that I need a time machine.
What? Hang on. Oh, hang on a second. I know what it is. Okay, let's. We're just gonna open up our own channel here. I will send you
like
this
the quicker
link.
time passed. Some people live in the past, others live in a flask.
And then I'll just
You know what I'm
post
saying?
it on
Me,
my
I'll tell you
channel.
this right
Oh,
now.
Jesus Christ! Sorry, I clicked the wrong button, and then I went on to like the Twitch homepage, and it's just this white kid sitting in front of a midget stormtrooper, rapping. It's, I mean, very.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm.
Oh,
There we
very-
go. I'm enthralled by it. I'll send you this link now. Christ. Oh, wow, I mean, that probably explains why the fuck this hasn't been working then. Okay, well, I've learned something tonight. This is important, so we're gonna retweet this live with Darkmatter 2525. I do have to ask, where did that name come from?
Oh, it's not very glamorous at all. It was.
But didn't expect
Like,
glamour, but
li-
now you've set my expectations high, and you can do nothing but let me down.
Well, it all started with a failed experiment working with actual dark matter in an underground lab. No.
Now we're
this-
talking. Keep going.
I watched a documentary on dark matter, and I was starting up a YouTube channel. Like everybody, you start with zero.
Like everybody
so-
else, yeah.
Yeah, so you start with zero, and you don't think anything will come of it, just like everyone. And so I didn't really care about the name that much. And I just watched this documentary, so that was in my head. So I called my channel Dark Matter, which was already taken, obviously. So I had to come up with a number. And the song In the Year 2525 was stuck in my head. So that's what it became.
So it's like, well, my name came about as a series of dated references.
Yeah.
Well, so it's good to fucking finally talk to you, man. I mean, we've been orbiting in similar circles for years now, and I've invited you
Yeah.
on the show a few times. I know that.
Oh, yeah. I've been meaning to come on the
Stop
show.
the ass kissing with you.
Hang on a second. I'm just trying to host this on my Twitch channel. Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to do the show, but you know how it goes, and everything's.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, I know all about it. I mean, honestly, booking guests on this show for a while, it was one of the easiest things in the world, and then the YouTube universe just shifted in like multiple spasmic directions, and then and then all of a sudden it's like it's like being in It's like pre-revolutionary Spain. It's like, well, who are my friends now? I don't know anymore. But
Yep.
well, I mean, I thought it was good, interesting timing. I kind of wanted to ask you. So I've seen there's been a lot of, I guess you could almost call it salt about how cringy atheist YouTube has become. Any thoughts on that?
Honestly, when it comes to the atheist scene on YouTube, I've kind of been keeping to myself. You know what I mean? I haven't done much with a lot of.
So you're not out there trying to fight Christianity anymore? Is that what you're saying?
No, no,
You're just giving
no.
Islam a pass now? Are you getting money from the Scientologists? You can be honest.
You've been spying on me.
It's like, well, I did a video on Scientology, and then I got a very nice settlement offer to stop doing them. And you'd be amazed what down payment on a house is like these days.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any particular issue with the atheist community that you were thinking of?
Well, I mean, I don't have an issue. It's just been funny because I've been seeing. I mean, I've been even seeing like tweets shared from I think Vadim, right, old school creationist cat. But it's this like retrospection seems to have been going on recently, where it's like, wow, you remember when there was like people talking about why religion was dumb, and then all of a sudden everybody split into camps and decided that they had to just eat each other.
Yep.
It does kind of seem like that, but I mean, do you think internet atheism is dead?
It's not like it used to be, and I don't think it will ever be again. It's just we kind of got in during the early days when everything was starting up, and now that everybody else has found what we found early on, atheism is going to start to resemble more of what it resembles in the real world, and that is a tiny little niche thing that fewer people care about, and the masses are going to come in with their issues that they're going to be concerned about, and those are going to dominate.
Oh, there we go. Well, so I mean, what do you think? It's like you think it's like the sort of classic, turn of the wheel thing? Because I mean, we are starting to see a resurgence in the get a brains Moran style Christian patriot, like, and it's being mixed with nationalism, and we all know how fun it is when you mix religious orthodoxy, especially like dumb religious orthodoxy, with nationalism.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll be like the renaissance for American internet atheism?
Well, I think that
Aha! You were not expecting a Spanish Inquisition in English.
it's going to be a lot different, to take that on. That's a totally different animal than your wacky creationists. And a lot of times, what's very disconcerting about that is you'll find the demarcation is not along whether you believe or disbelieve, because there's going to be plenty of atheists who support them. So it takes on a totally
You mean
different,
like Dave Rubin,
yeah, people like that who care more about the politics, the the fact that they're conservatives or right wing than the fact that they're non-believers. So they pick their side based on that more than whether or not a God exists. That they tolerate the religion aspect of it as long as they get the other stuff that they like.
as long as they get their other rocks off. I mean, I have to.
Yeah.
Well, I have to wonder though, because it's something that I've noticed seems to be like an overlap between Orthodox ideologues of really any stripe, right? and and deeply religious people. Actually, like I'll say fundamentalist religious, because I actually and I think you probably know some too. Like you get these people who are deeply religious, but they're not idiots. They're not going to try and tell you the Earth is 6,000 years old, and they'll they'll sort of tip their hat and bow to science when it's proven. But they still and they say they believe in God and they have their faith because of what it does for them. But I notice this overlap between ideology, in which it's like, haha, I have found the truth, and religion, which is also, aha, I have found the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I mean, do you think, I don't know, I kind of wondered, like, because we've seen it happen before, but do you think, like, nationalism might actually become a new religion, in a sense?
Well, what is somewhat surprising to me is that it's it's attractive to people who aren't religious at all, and what that tells me is that religion isn't a necessary component. I think that it's useful for nationalist ends, but not vital. So that's going to affect rhetoric against nationalism, against religion.
Well, well, where do you stand on nationalism? Are you a proud patriot, or do you hate America?
It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, we're on the internet, dude. Nuance is a word. It's a foreign language. But no, I mean, but even with that, it's it seems like it's the same sort of if you play that same key, then the same kind of people will start dancing.
Yeah. It's I'm sorry if my kid's he's getting his teeth brushed.
No, that's okay. You've created new Americans, and that's that's important. We need as many of them as we can get. Do you have any idea how many Chinese there are? Because that's exactly.
Oh, so, I'm not gonna close that gap. I mean, I could try, but I don't think my wife would appreciate it. So with as far as America goes, I'm somebody who I like and dislike America, things about America. Like I recognize our transgressions, but I also recognize our virtues. And so I won't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I also know we can do better, and we can be better, and we also can have consideration for the rest of the world. I'm somebody who is more sympathetic to the what you might call the globalist cause, where we're
there we go. No, go on, tell it. How much money are you getting from Soros? How much money is Soros giving you to be on this show, and how can I get some of it? Well, no, I mean, I hear what you're saying there. It's just funny because over time, right, I've come to notice. I mean, I kind of got into the YouTube game, and the social commentary game, as it was during Gamergate, right? And that was a fun time when it started. It really was. But
I'm kind of glad I stayed out of that, because that looked extremely messy.
I can say, as somebody who rode that wave, I rode that shit into weird places. Like, it was like Gamergate actually helped me become a beer critic for 2 years. So for 2 years, So for 2 years, I was getting paid to review craft beers, and I was getting high-end liquor sent to my house via FedEx so that I could write reviews. So it's one of these I can't say it was a bad thing kind of things. But
right,
what I've definitely noticed though is in the same way, I remember old school YouTube atheism was, it was bagging on young Earth creationists and creative I even forget what the term is. Creative designers, what is it? Intelligent design, right?
Right.
All that shit. They were series of arguments that would come out. And what I noticed though is that like what it came down to is like the crazies, the like the bad actors, the bad faith actors in that sense, were always operating from a place of faith. But then as that evolved, like I mean, like even Ben Shapiro runs around like facts don't care about your feelings, right? But at the same time, his adherence to this notion of like a quasi-religious conservative social viewpoint is one that is based in his faith that it'll work, despite the fact that it causes nothing but problems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think that's kind of the new front in like, is there a free thinker movement that is just waiting to explode right now?
Um, I really wish that would be the case, but unfortunately, I I don't see an indication of that because the world things are kind of on a downward trend right now. I don't know how far down it's going to go. I hope not much further, but when you have the pandemic, when you have economic decline, um, when you have civil unrest, all these things going on, typically what follows is a religious revival when things go to shit. So that's what I anticipate. I anticipate a religious revival. I'm not looking forward to it, but at least I get to keep my job.
No, well, I guess here's a fun question on that one though. Let's say we get a religious revival, but we get one like, so a friend of mine he used to be actually a youth pastor, right? Um,
Hmm.
Now, no dummy too, no dummy. Like he got his certificate in divinity and all that, became a pastor,
Hmm.
and then has been going on to get his master's in philosophy. Now, okay, spoilers. He's now an agnostic, but we used to have really good conversations about, and his position was like, even if let's say hypothetically it's all bullshit, like let's say the whole divinity thing and there's no God and all that, if progressive minded religious institutions can advance society, is that not worth it? And
Hmm.
that's a tricky fucking question in my mind. Where do you stand on that? I mean, like, would you prefer like an all out war of reason against faith, or like a détente between progressive faith and progressive rationalism?
Um. Oh, well,
I told you it was going to be
yeah.
a casual stream. I don't get to talk to thoughtful people that often, so.
It. I would prefer whatever facilitates less tribalism, less animosity. I've been seeing so much more, um, just bubbles,
Uh,
where everything
echo,
goes from
would
zero
would
to hate.
would you might
You
call
know,
them echo chambers?
yes, echo chambers where if you dare to wander beyond the wafer thin uh, bubble, then you go right into hate. You get hate and you give hate, and um, I want to. I'd prefer to not go toward an all-out war. You know, I want there to be more of a reasoned discourse. Um, and what I've noticed as time has gone on, and in response to my videos on YouTube, is that I get far fewer actual arguments and far more insults. And that's kind of how it started out. It started out when atheists and creationists were pretty
Battling.
much on even ground. When YouTube started, and there was a lot of insults, and then as atheists started winning more and more, and then it kind of started dominating everything. The arguments came, and there was less insults and more nuance and arguments. And now I'm seeing like a trend back toward the former, where it's just the arguments have devolved back into insults, and I just
So you've seen it like sort of like it's just sort of back. It's like been a series of backsliding. You think?
yeah, it's kind of come full circle.
Well, it kind of worries me because like, I mean, like let's speak politically for a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
When GW was in office, I remember like that's when I actually got involved with like Move On at its dawn and like the anti-war movement.
Yeah.
Well, I remember then, like, even, like, you know, like, I would argue with intelligent neocons who would try and make the case that, you know, the U.S. should be the dominant global superpower and, you know, all that neoconservative shit.
Uh-huh.
But it was at least an argument. It was like, an actual, like, they, you know, they always had something to reply with. They always had something to say. And you could argue with them. But I noticed with, like, this modern conservative movement, the Trump conservative movement, really is a scraping the bottom of the barrel kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary though because there are literally millions of people right now who just pour actual almost religious level faith into what is clearly a narcissistic moron who would put us at war or let 150,000 people die simply for political gain. I mean, it's kind of terrifying because I've always kind of like, you know, the classic atheist thing is that you always regard the faithful as a rube, right? You know, it's you have to remind yourself they're not that, but it's easy to slip into that mindset that like, oh, you believe in God and holy and holy shit and magic and all this because you're simple and you need answers. But then to see that kind of mentality poured into a secular political movement is kind of fucking terrifying, I think.
Yeah, it is. And Trump has tapped into that, like that religious aspect. I mean, I highly doubt Trump is very religious. I highly doubt he even knows anything about the religion he purports to have, but uh, he has clearly used it to his advantage. Um, you know, he as far as I don't know, it's he's kind of an expert at selling himself. That's all he's ever truly sold is himself, and he knows just who to sell himself to. He knows who's not going to buy into it, and he knows who is. So he focuses on those people. Um, he's a fucking idiot, but he does have a mind for certain strategy. So um,
Well, it's a
he
bit of it's demagoguery, really.
yeah,
But
he brands himself as an outsider when you know you couldn't get more inside than Trump.
well, it's he's not really inside as much as he's just like he's a very pliable puppet. Because like
Mm,
the inside track is always the money track. It's always the you know the uber wealthy elites who just want to own everything. And with Trump,
mm,
like with GW, they found like, hey, this is the easiest Republican we've ever had to deal with. Like
yeah,
he'll give us anything. With Trump, it's like, holy shit, this guy wants to sell the farm. He wants to
yeah,
sell the whole farm. Um,
yeah. Well, people will see a video of after the George Floyd killing, they'll see people smashing a storefront and going in and taking stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, these looters!" And what they don't realize is that is what is happening right now with the Trump presidency. He's holding the door open of the door open of America, the storefront that is America, and he's letting everyone come in and take what they want and get the fuck out before he's forced to close the door and get the hell out.
well, that's an interesting point you raised though, just because I'm kind of curious because so, like I have this odd philosophy, right, where when I see society tearing itself apart, I say to myself, if it got to this point, this is what needed to happen. Like, this is just a
Mm,
natural progression of events. There was no getting around it. I mean, we could have gotten around it if we'd have done certain things, but no one wanted to do them. and this is the natural outcome. And when everything popped off, I got a lot of shit in my very limited comment section saying like, "Oh, I bet you love these riots. I bet you love all this chaos." And the truth is, I do. For me, like, I see this as like growing pains in a society that like has been trying to ignore elephants in the room until they were crushed. And I'm kind of curious, like, what's your perspective on that? Because, you know, as a rational anti-theist, I'm curious. Do you see like a natural like sort of governing dynamics to social order in that sense?
If I were confident that people could learn the lessons, then yeah, but I'm not confident that they could. Like the consequence, you know, of the riots will be, you know, what I've seen as far as the history of America goes is people don't learn from their mistakes and they get causality mixed up. They'll look at the symptoms and conflate them with, you know, the root problem. And so when things naturally go to shit, you know, as a natural consequence of what's going on in this country, I'm not confident enough in Americans' ability to pinpoint the cause. So
that makes sense.
What I
yeah. That
yeah.
does make sense. In this sense, though, like, even though, like, so you take all the social problems that this country's had over its history, and even prior to that, like, you go back to Europe, and you take, like, the French Revolution. The French Revolution was a organic revolt against a system that didn't work, but it led to terrible things because all the terrible things of that system had been allowed to go on for so long. And so I look at these things, it's sort of like a one step forward, two steps back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Except over time you naturally shift forward anyway. So, like, you know, we're facing a second civil rights movement right now, one which is more aggressive, more some might say violent, but at the same time it's one of these things like, well, the last one got this much in terms of gains, this one is naturally reacting because of the environment and because it has not achieved as many gains as it ought to have. I mean, do you think? I guess in the sense, do you see this as like natural social evolution, the slow, painful process of a society unfucking itself, or are we really just at a mad time where we've lost all sense?
Well, people need to get it through their heads that just because certain things aren't legal anymore, like certain racist laws, that that doesn't necessarily mean that the laws are enforced equitably. You know, that doesn't mean that there's an uneven implementation. And so now we're battling this idea that, all right, we fixed the laws, but there's still, you know, societal action going on at a pretty broad systemic level, and people are not acknowledging that this is going on. People are still under the mistaken impression that it's just, you know, a bunch of individuals who simultaneously decided to you know, misbehave or whatever. When if you approach things from an individual, like try to solve things at an individual level, when in actuality it's a societal problem, then the problem's never going to be solved. So this second civil rights movement is all about that. It's all about personal responsibility versus societal responsibility, and people need to understand that society is what needs to change in order to be able to affect, you know, personal change at a personal level.
Well, so I guess you're kind of waffling on a centrist level there, aren't you? Now,
Well,
I've been viewing all of this through this lens of like the notion of governing dynamics, right? And like time and time again, like, so the civil rights movement is, you know, that made a lot of gains, right?
Yeah.
but then it backslides a little bit, and then it's almost like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing in that sense, because at the same time, like, yes, they have civil rights. Black people can drink at a malt shop if they still had any, without being assaulted. There's still the issue of like socioeconomic, just division in that sense. And then even now we're even seeing that like really drilling into the broader swath of society. That's no longer, the elites are no longer content to have a small section of lower class that they can lean on when they want money. Now everyone has to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a strange sort of thing. I just see this thing like, there are some people who resist the turn of the wheel, as I call it, where, yes, all that shit that's unaddressed comes back again, and you have to address it once more, versus those who just want to, like, accelerate and spin it. Because I'll be honest, like, and I'm curious about this. How did you fare during COVID? Because when I saw the world breaking down, every ounce of depression and anxiety I had running through me, it just sort of vanished for a while. I'm like, oh, good, the world's ending. Thank fuck.
I mean, because of what I do and what my wife does, it wasn't something that we had to worry about as far as, financially, because she works at a hospital. Well, I guess, I mean, we have different worries.
I'm just hearing you, like, my wife works at a hospital, so when like a pandemic happened, I was like, thank God, baby, you're getting so much overtime.
Yeah, that sounds wrong. I'm saying because she doesn't have to worry about her job, losing a job like other people do. And we have other worries like her, getting COVID and bringing COVID home, to me and my kid and everything like that. That's obviously a worry, but one that hasn't, happened yet, fortunately. But, and then as far as I go, with,
I just want to let you know real quick. So Crab90 in the chat, he's regular here. He just asked, Darkmatter's wife is a doctor, so congratulations, you've now become you're now on par. You're ready to go to war with Ben Shapiro.
No, she's not a doctor.
You can lie.
All right,
Christ.
she's a doctor.
Have you been on the internet before? Christ.
Okay, she is a doctor.
She's a doctor.
She does open heart surgery and dentistry, and she often tries to coordinate so she could do it at the same time.
There we go. Yep. See. Yep. That was well saved. Well saved.
Sometimes she gets the tools mixed up and it creates a problem.
Listen, guys, did you know his wife is a doctor? That means you got to speak faster, but that means that, he's correct, because, a doctor wouldn't marry a failed screenwriter. I'm a failed screenwriter, so Ben, if you want to start a club of Jewish men who are failed screenwriters, you'll have to get over that I'm a bit taller than you, but I'm happy to have you over for sushi. I won't officiate any gay weddings whatsoever. It'll be fine.
This is nothing but what you call a blatant ad hominem attack. This has absolutely nothing to do with my wife or my beliefs. I can't talk.
And now because my sister just started a YouTube channel and she now has 40,000 subscribers. Listen, I mean, YouTube. Most of you tune in for tits and ass, but my sister is off limits. She's technically my property until she's married. I'm a traditionalist, and I like to keep the women I control in dog houses, actual physical dog houses, because it's only after that you can appreciate a Tempur-Pedic mattress, you see. So, yeah, it's good times.
I do not refer to her as Ben Shapiro's sister. I refer to her as Face App Shapiro, because if you look at her face, I mean that's what her face is. Well, it's just Ben Shapiro with the face app thing.
Listen here, Darkmatter 2525. If you want to get into old school YouTube misogyny, have you ever seen Lauren Southern's sister? That girl has an ass you could bounce $10 off of. It's enormous. It's a bubble. It's a bigger bubble than the tech bubble in the 90s. It's amazing. And I can't fault genes like that. So Lauren Southern, since you're a centrist and you want to come on, you should come on the show sometime. Be like, well, I just had an atheist on. Would you like to talk about how dark people from North Africa are a threat to Italy? Oh, no? Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Let's not get a strike on my channel. Now, I have to ask you. Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, is she trying to get away from her old ways? Is she like changing her views?
I saw this one video where she was like talking about she wants to be more moderate in her presentation, right?
Oh, I see.
Now
she's trying to entice.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's trying to entice she's trying to play smart then.
Well,
really.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's also like she's caught a bunch of hate from her old, right wing, white is right audience.
Of course, they're not going to tolerate that. Sure.
I'd like to make a public service announcement right now, Lauren. When you hit the bottom, right? I'm here. I've been here for a long time. I can show you pleasure and intellectual stimulation as well as other stimulation you can never even imagine. Because here at the bottom, basically, like, we're all living a Chuck Palahniuk novel right now. And you and I, we're the same, honey. We're the same. But then again...
Right, I'm starting to feel self-conscious about being here.
Why? Because you're married and you can't, like... you can't fucking neg Lauren Southern into a centrist threesome? What's wrong with you, man? Come on! Get some perspective! Now... Well, we are kind of like we're breaking towards the second hour here. So one thing I did want to check in. Now, you're on Discord right now too? So
yes. Check
my live stream. Now I'm gonna have to sort this out somehow. But I can't tell if this is a real story or not. I want it to be. But you just don't know. So I just gotta set it up there, and boom, and let's see. There we go.
There might be a delay. Yeah, there's okay.
I don't know. Well, I mean, you can actually check the stream out on. I actually just switched over. But you can check it out on Discord. But I saw this come up on Twitter today, and I kept looking up trying to figure out if it was true or not, and I can't tell. But it says a well-known voodoo priest from New Orleans was arrested this morning by FBI after paying a powerful $25,000 for a couple strands of President Trump's hair in an effort to inflict bodily harm on him and management him via a voodoo doll. That's really fucking well done. Now, granted, this is just for your information, but I found it spread around so many places. Now, World News Daily Report. That's a solid goddamn news source, right? Because we get to choose what's fact and what's not now. Now, I want to know, though. Do you think this is true? Or do you think it's bullshit? Because I tried looking it up myself, and I didn't see any Snopes shit on it.
I don't understand what they could arrest him for. I don't see the law that was broken.
Well, here's the thing: if the government respects religion, that means that the government's official position is that religion's bullshit is not bullshit, right? They're not saying it either way. So
yeah, it's not no comment on religion.
Well, this story goes 31-year-old Moses Filisson. An important religious leader in the Louisiana voodoo community was arrested in possession of 8 grams of what is believed to be Donald Trump's hair.
Makes it so. What is he? You could get really high off of 8 grams of Trump hair.
That is a lot of chemicals. That's true.
Yeah.
The provenance of the lock of hair is yet to be clarified, and it has been sent to an FBI lab for DNA analysis, which I'm sure he'll put a court injunction to block. But investigators claim they have strong evidence it's authentic. Now, according to FBI spokesman Bobby Miller, the accused paid $25,000 on Craigslist for the hair, which, I'll be honest, like, if you're looking at this same stream, I don't think that guy has ever been anywhere near 25 grand. I mean, I could be wrong. Those tattoos cost at least $5,000, but so I mean, what do you think? Let's see. We know these dolls are probably powerless, but there are enough rumors already about the president being controlled by the Russians, Freemasons, and even reptilians. We don't want new ones being started about the voodoo puppet. What do you think? Is this a true story?
If I had to guess, I would say no. If I had to guess, I mean, I could be wrong.
Well, you
but-
know what? You are wrong, because I'm looking closer at this picture, and do you see all those stars of David tattooed on this guy's face?
his face is very pixelated for me.
Oh, well, that's because the Jews don't want you to see it. My point is, though,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that this is real. But no, this is the strange thing is, like, I kept looking, like, it's like World News Daily Report, Twitter, True News Blog, Reddit, PioneerTable.com, newsfizzle.com, iFunny, right? I keep seeing this shit, right? And I think to myself, this is what fake news narratives get us. It's like, if you call what you don't like fake news, eventually people like, just for your information.com, that's a solid source of information. They're not going to lie to me. Not like the New York Times. You know?
well, I see that CNN, automatically becomes credible when they say something in Trump's favor, or when they say something, against Biden or something like that. All of a sudden, the usual people who call CNN fake suddenly are promoting CNN,
Yeah.
or at least that story in particular. Suddenly, then it's not fake anymore.
Hang on. Is this sort of like when somebody says, I'm a liberal, but I think Mitch McConnell and Jim Jordan are completely right on this issue, which is the same thing they said the week before?
Yeah, it's there's a certain breed where they'll claim that they're left and liberal and everything, but their entire presence is nothing but complaining about everything left and liberal.
Well, here's a fun comparison though. What about when you get, like, remember how the Dalai Lama once said that if science proves a thing to be true, and Buddhism must evolve, something to that extent?
No, I don't remember, but
Well, yeah,
No.
no. There was a point in which, like, he said something to the effect of, if science proves something to be true, then that Buddhism maintains as false, then Buddhism will have to evolve. And I remember a shit ton of, like, internet atheists, which is exactly, it's not exactly like, a big thing, helpful thing. But they were super excited about that because it was the notion that, oh, wow, look, religion has said that, it can be wrong. I kind of wonder if that same mechanism isn't what the Tim Pools and the fucking Dave Rubins out there are playing right now, where it's just basically like, oh, I'm one of the good ones. I'm a lefty liberal, but you know what? Donald Trump is right about everything. And if I'm saying that, it's true.
Yeah, there's a definite grift to be had there. The convert, that's a common thing. There's a history of, like, conservative propaganda where they take someone from a minority group and use them as a spokesperson.
Well, it was Hannity and Combs. I mean, before there was just Sean Hannity, they had the nerdy old guy who was supposed to be liberal. Yeah, he's like, oh, well, I guess you're right, Sean. And then all of a sudden it's like, haha, we got him again, guys.
Yeah, he always wins. He always wins every debate somehow.
It's so confusing. But so, what do you I don't know. Do you wish that there was a voodoo doll being made out of Donald Trump's hair right now? Because
Well, seeing as how the FBI got involved, I can neither confirm nor deny my like or dislike of any type of voodoo doll.
I am so scared of feds. I'll just let them do their thing and pay for it as long as they leave me alone.
I don't have to worry about anybody making a voodoo doll with my
Oh,
hair.
well,
I'll tell you that right
aren't
now.
you just fucking lucky then? God damn it. Well, what's the, we're barreling into the second hour, and I'm going to start bringing people in. By the way, guys, if you're watching now, if you want, jump into the Discord.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
What the fuck is this?
I'm kind of retarded.
Something just happened. Oh, I didn't have the right thing open. But yeah, jump in the Discord if you want. Just come on in. Just fucking kick it. Crab actually just donated $5. One question for Darkmatter, but Nick can answer too, I guess. You know I fucking will, Crab. Yeah, dare me to keep my fucking mouth shut. I dare you, cunt. Anyway, do you think the USA is redeemable through its amendable constitution, or have our societies fractured / divided beyond repair, and we're headed towards collapse? I'll let you go first.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's redeemable, I think. But a lot of that depends on extenuating circumstances like the pandemic, like the election. Things need to calm down first. Like with things are, if Trump gets reelected, things are not going to calm down. They're just going to get worse. And that is not even, I mean, I have zero confidence in Trump, but just his presence is, no matter what he does, is going to cause conflict. So I think one of the things that needs to happen is he needs to get out of there. And hopefully the pandemic goes away soon. I mean, it's probably going to take a while for that to die down.
2-3 years maybe.
Yeah. So like, and then as far as the United States being redeemable, there's a lot of different facets of good and bad about the United States. Well, we have some really abysmal foreign policy wherein I can completely understand why a lot of countries dislike us. We have the unfortunate position of being taxpayers that have to fund this,
The empire.
the government that engages in these foreign policies that we disagree with, in these
The empire.
other countries.
It's an empire. We have an empire. I mean, I've previously interviewed John Perkins, and he said it beautifully. He's like, the U.S. was the first country to realize in full that you can't just have a military empire. You have to have an economic empire backed by a military empire. And that's kind of what we have. I mean, we can project force all over the goddamn globe at a moment's notice.
Yeah, and what's going to happen when the dollar is undermined? It's
For
right
the
now.
yen.
It's hitting multiple directions of attack. You have, is runaway inflation going to happen with all this? Well, we're just inventing money digitally on computers. $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. Oh, we got the market's crashing. Let's pump a few trillion more numbers in there. Just type them in. We don't even print the money anymore. We just type them out of thin air.
Yeah, it's the classic question of like, especially when we hear about all the debt, right? Like the entire globe is this $1 trillion in debt. And it's like, to who? Like,
right.
Who does the whole world owe all this money to?
And we have China rising as a superpower.
Oh, you've heard? Have you seen the plans for the new Silk Road?
No.
Oh, it's this insane thing, and it's brilliant. But Xi Jinping, and actually, I already know. I'm not going to roll, but the first person. Have you ever spoken to Focus Break before?
No.
Habib? Okay, you'll like Habib. This guy is a Saudi expat living in Dubai. He's an open atheist. Puts his name in his face to it, and he plays fucking Skyrim every goddamn day. I'm gonna bring him in a moment, but he's actually told me even in Dubai, whereas all of the new buildings and signs used to be in English, because that's who you want to cater to for your business. He says it's all going up in Chinese now. Now Xi Jinping has a plan to basically build a land transit route that goes through through Asia and Eurasia, up into Western Europe, and then it comes back down along a land route, and then I believe it's in the Mediterranean. It joins up in a sea route, which goes through the Mediterranean and then out into the Indian Ocean. And then all along the western coast of Africa, China's been dumping a shit ton of money to build ports so that they can control all of the sea traffic in the Indian Ocean. So it's just this one beautiful Silk Road loop. And meanwhile, we're freaking out about TikTok over here. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, fuck it. You know what? I'm just going to bring him in now. Here we go. Focus, but Habib. Habib.
Hello.
Habib, you're talking with Darkmatter 2525. It's classic YouTube atheist.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's sad because we did exchange a few lines on Twitter before, but he even forgot who I was.
Oh no, it's
I'm
I'm
sad.
sorry about that.
No, hang on. Do not apologize. Just take a moment and hang your head in shame. You're abandoning Arab atheists. You had no idea.
In my defense, I interact with so many thousands of people that. And
Habib, did you hear
No.
that? You just blended into the crowd. You didn't even matter.
Yeah, like, dude, I only have like 2,000 followers on Twitter, and I do get it. I get some people on my stream showing up. They're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey, you! I know you. You're that guy.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
The guy." You know.
Welcome. Now, Habib, you were telling me before though, like in Dubai, you've seen like Chinese language signs. That's the new thing, right?
It wasn't just like the street signs. The street signs are still Arabic and English. That's mainly by law here. Every sign has to be in Arabic and English, including like, street signs, or like, store signs and whatnot, because it's a tourist city here. But one of the biggest displays in Dubai, and that's like the icon of the city, is the
Kinda
Burj
like-
Khalifa. Because
It's
they
like
have like the entire thing they converted into a screen now.
It's like the Times Square kind of Piccadilly
Yeah.
Circus of Dubai.
Yeah, it is basically what the mood of the city is. You'll see it in Burj Khalifa always. And I noticed it back in 2019, New Year's Eve 2019. And usually it's like the first time that they just go like Happy New Year in Arabic, and then the English, and then they start with other languages. 2019, it was Arabic and then Chinese. English was just one of the other languages that they spouted out later. So yeah, the Chinese, like, for example, like in Saudi and even here in Dubai, you can start learning Chinese in school, like public school, after 6th grade. And they're trying to push for it like very, very strongly. Like, we need to befriend these guys now. Let's forget about the Westerners.
Yeah, they see the writing on the wall.
Hmm. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can say, well, human rights violations and sweatshops. And in America, I think that kind of resonates a lot because you guys kind of forget about
Well,
what atrocities the Americans
it only
commit.
Yeah, it only resonates when you throw it in our face. Otherwise, we're more than happy to let slaves mine whatever minerals are necessary for our iPads to only cost $400.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, most Americans I talk to, they just always pinpoint the faults of other nations when it comes to human rights violations, but they forget their own, as if they don't even exist.
Yeah.
So for an average person here, if they go like, "Hey, how are you dealing with the Chinese? They do this and that," and they're like, "So, I should go with the Americans?" Like, and they'll just laugh at your face. Be like, "Look at what they do."
Yeah, and a lot of times if you point that out, they'll accuse you of, America bashing, when it's like you should be able to make legitimate criticisms against your own country.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I kind of feel you for that. And if I'm allowed to just take the conversation somewhere else. Well, not totally somewhere else, but
Wherever you
it's in the
want.
ballpark.
Go on.
It's something that I've been trying to gauge from, like, the atheist community or whatever is left out of it. I started my journey on YouTube back in 2015, trying to criticize Islam, but also at the same time trying to not inject a lot of anti-Islamic hate or anti-Muslim hate that's been spreading all over the world back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And in my stupidity and naivety, I got used by the by the YouTube community because I was one of the good ones. That's how they described me. And I'm sort of like, I kind of left the entire community a long time ago. Like, it was 2017. I was done with them. I would
Yeah.
like to encourage more people to do it, but I don't know how. How do you separate the two? Muslim hate and criticizing Islam. How do you separate the two? I don't know how.
I'll throw this out real quick, and then I'll turn it over to Darkmatter. But I mean, I continually go back to that story about you throwing rocks over a fence at Israelis, right?
Yeah.
And then seeing like the Israeli border soldier and where was it? The Jordan?
Lebanon.
Lebanon. Yeah, and then like the Lebanese soldiers just going up and like trading cigarettes and just hanging
Sharing
out,
stories.
basically hanging out like coworkers because they're both in the same work environment, but they're just on different sides. Like I continually kind of go back to that myself, and if you'd like to like tell that story, that'd be fucking great.
I'll tell the story after he answers.
Yeah, but yeah, I continually kind of go back to that because the whole point of this whole thing on YouTube, this whatever the fuck you want to call it, anti-religious, anti-SJW, whatever it is, it was supposed to be fundamentally about rejecting orthodox thinking that stupid people adopt because it gives them a powerful sense of knowledge, and saying, no, you need to be smarter than that. You need to actually like ask yourself routinely, am I being a dumbass? Because if you're not asking yourself that and you're sure you've got all the answers, you are basically Steven Crowder, and you should hang yourself. That's my position. But
And my thoughts on Islam are, in order to separate it from people, is you criticize the scripture and the politics, rather than being like a lot of people approach it from a more like a bigoted aspect, like, look at all these Muslims coming over and raping our women and blah blah, and that's all just rhetoric that appeals to bigots. But if you criticize it from a perspective of, well, what is the policies that are causing these problems, and what is motivating these policies? What is it about the religion itself that we have a problem with? Is it, so we have to get into the actual beliefs in the religion, the actual scripture, the dogma. But if you just go on and on and on about these, people, that you take issue with because of, crime or whatever, then that's, this the same argument over and over again. People make the same argument about,
black
other
on
races.
black crime.
Right.
Huh.
Here in the United States. And what they're doing is they're just taking the same argument and reframing it with, Muslims versus, Europeans.
Yeah, but even when you criticize the scripture itself, like, you read the Quran, and that's okay. You can read it literally, but no sect in Islam would read it literally. Everyone has their own translation and their own interpretation of the Quran, and it gets very complicated very quickly. And I tried to bring that nuance to the table when I was doing my videos. It just flew on deaf ears. The people were just like, yeah, Muslims bad. And they kept with that. So I kind of stopped.
Well,
I'm like, who am I even trying to convince here?
Well, it's kind of similar in the modern sense. Like, a lot of people rejected like the social justice orthodoxy. That's how you and I met, Habib.
Mm-hmm.
And when you reject that, it's assumed that you embrace the opposite orthodoxy. Like, oh, you don't like social justice? Then you must be a traditionalist, nationalist. You must love your people and want your people protected from all those other people. And it's more about, no, I would just like my already good society to be better.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I use one of your videos, Darkmatter, for anyone who's kind of skeptical of Islam. And I just sent them that video, which doesn't really identify a religion or whatever. And I'm like, just take this and study your dogma. It's forgot what the title of the video, but it's about a good man, like a good Christian, and how a religion can make a bad person out of an otherwise a good man. And it's like, imagine like this is one good man, but he's living in this like one society. But you have the parents trying to insert this dogma on him, and then take the parents and like it's a community, or imagine if it's a whole country. And at the end of the video is the same good man being executed by his peers just because he had some questions.
Mm-hmm. I think that
And
one's called "But Intelligent People." Wait, is it intelligent people do believe in God? I have almost 200 videos, so I don't.
yeah, I forgot which one it was, but yeah, it's a beautifully made videos. And when are you going to continue that series, like with the robots and everything? That's awesome.
Pretty soon. I mean, it's getting closer and closer to the end, and after so many parts, they get fewer and fewer views. So and they take more and more work. So I'm kind of disincentivized from doing it, but I really will finish it one day.
Are you sticking to scripture, or are you going with like more, Christian mythology and like, Paradise Lost, or something from Dante maybe, and inserting that into that mythos? Because I've seen just like, okay, you're sticking with the Bible per se, but you could have some influences here and there. At least a sign that says abandon all hope, or something.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
okay, that video is called "But Intelligent People Believe in God." That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah, that's the one, I guess.
well, let me ask you this. I'm kind of curious. Like, were you raised in a religious house? Were you given religious teachings that you rejected, or did you just sort of come to find the whole notion offensive on its own?
No, I wasn't raised religious, but I experienced, a lot of religion, where I lived. People would often talk to me about it, and I always just never believed them. So I always argued about it. I remember arguing about it, back when I was a little kid.
Well, Habib, I mean, would you be open to talking about some of your madrasa experience?
Yeah, I was raised in a very strict family, like when it comes to Islam. So I did extracurricular studies in Islam. I went to the madrasas, and through my teenage years, like I was a very, very, very radical Muslim. Like I would say stupid shit, like every man and woman on earth, they have some goodness in their heart, except for the gays and the Jews. Like it's something that I internalized and believed in because of my teachings. And we studied mostly Islamic apologia, just like this is what the atheists claim, this is what the Jews claim, this is what the Hindus claim, and how do you combat their rhetoric? That was the crux of it for years, until one day we were tackling free will and the notion of free will, and that just did not compute in my head. And I was like, how do we have free will when in the story of creation in Islam, it's a little bit different than Christianity. Christianity, God created light. That is the first creation. In Islam, it wasn't light. It was a tablet. We call it the Lawh al-Mahfuz, which is like the preserved tablet. And that tablet has, like, he created the tablet and a pen. Commanded the pen to write everything that there is, everything that was, and everything that will be. And it's all preserved. The destiny of every single creation. And then they tell us that there's free will. And I'm like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. So I started questioning the mullahs. and they would just scoff off the question. They're like, well, God works in mysterious ways, or you just don't understand it, or we're not supposed to understand it. As a stubborn teenager, I was like, no, you just suck an Islamic apologist, so I'll be a better apologist than you. I started reading more books that are way above my grade at the time. Didn't find the answer. I turned into Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, different books from all over. It was my first attempt to read the Divine Comedy too, because I even read like adjacent books to other religions. And the more I read, the more I realize that all of this is fucking bullshit. So in 2003, when I was like very, very agnostic about Islam, but I was only a Muslim by name, that was when I denounced Islam. That was in Canada because my ex-girlfriend at the time, or she was my girlfriend at the time, we went to Wendy's out of all places, and instead of getting me pancakes, they gave me eggs and bacon. And I tried bacon for the very first time because I was hungry. I didn't really care. And I'm like, you know what? This is fucking divine, and fuck Islam, and fuck all religion. I'm an atheist now because I'm going to eat more bacon.
You heard it here, guys. Habib was saved by bacon.
Yes.
We've been dropping bombs, and we should have been dropping bacon.
No, okay.
Yeah, but the woke set would have been
Since you mentioned
really
the bombs,
upset.
let me tell you something about how in the Gulf, if you survey people here, I think the latest survey on that topic was back from 2014 in Saudi Arabia. There are more than 25% of people that identify as non-religious. They're Muslim by name or just fully atheist. But, you know, some of them are just culturally Muslim, I guess. And the way that you guys want us over, like the secular West, is not by bombs. It's because everyone can quote Seinfeld here. Everyone can quote. Like, everyone knows all the characters from Friends. We all know the Ninja Turtles colors.
Hang on. How did you learn English again, Habib?
Sesame Street and Metal Gear Solid. Kid you not?
No. No, video games. I remember you telling me, like, I played all these Western video games, so I learned to read English so I could understand what was going on.
Exactly. But yeah, that's how you won the hearts of people here. You go to somewhere where, let's say Cuba, for example, which is very, very close to you guys, but there's no Western media there. Everybody's blockading them. When I went to there back in 2014, they had immense respect and love to the Chinese and the Russians because they're enamored with their media. So it's not about dropping bombs and just like blockading a country. Just show them the good side of you, and you'll win them over.
We need to actually put John Bolton and Kojima in a room and come up. Yeah. We will win over the entire world.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I've been addicted to Death Stranding.
I'm kind of
recently.
retarded.
Oh, yes. Oh, you just got into
I
that
want to get
too,
it so
huh?
bad.
I'm
done.
Death Stranding was a drunk purchase for me. Like, I knew I couldn't make rent if I bought it, but I did.
No, I wasn't drunk enough. That was my problem. I wasn't drunk enough. I'm like,
the weird thing about it is like, I really love, and it's funny because people could say it's a hate it or love it game, right?
Yeah.
If you hate it, it's because you just wanted to kill people and run around and have a game, right? If you loved it, it was because the story is literally about you are somebody who has rejected society entirely, but you are tasked with putting it back together. And
building bridges. It's all on the theme.
And that's the weird thing though, is because like I was playing it and I realized a lot of people were like, and this is a funny thing I realized. There are people out there who play for self-benefit, right? Like, you know, they want to play their game and be the best and be the most badass, whatever. And then I was playing this game and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. There are a bunch of post offices and bridges here that I didn't put there. And this dude just put this here to make it easier for me. And I'm like, no, all right, you know what? I'm going to put a bridge up and I'm going to build a little road and I'm going to put markers up to make it easy for other people. It's an online game that you never actually encounter any of the other players. All you encounter is what they were willing to do for you. And it's I genuinely, I've been streaming it, and I'm probably going to stream it tonight, but I love that game for that. I love that notion of I mean, they even have like, have you done the call out feature yet, where like you call out and say hello, and then it's another voice that, it's just programmed to say hello where I can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even though that's the game speaking to you, you realize like, okay, well, this batch of gear that totally saved my life was left to me by somebody else at cost to them, because you don't have spare gear in this shit. And I fucking love that. I'm like, wow. I'm like, a video game is teaching people to work together without hoping for praise. And then you get and then you get those likes, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. I should build another one. Because apparently that shit was really helpful for people. Like, in the opening sequence, you have a whole series of fucking rivers to cross. I built one bridge myself. I came back to it a day later. There's like 4 other bridges built. I'm like, why? I like that. Well, that's, it's that weird fucking dichotomy, though. I mean, when it comes to the internet, for instance, it's allowed us to spread extremist fucking nonsense and convince scared and angry fucking lonely ass people to go shoot up fucking shopping centers. But then at the same time, then you get this game that comes along, and you're like, I just want to help people because maybe they might appreciate it.
Yeah, the internet has been, the best of both worlds. I assumed, because there was a time, in my life when there was no internet at all. And technically it existed, but it wasn't available to the broader public. But
it was weird then, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I expected when the internet started becoming more broadly available was that it would be nothing but good, because, this is information that everyone's going to have now, and people can, educate themselves. And what happened was that it turned into kind of like a Wild West thing where there's no rules, and you can have all kinds of misinformation spread very easily, propaganda, and you can do a disinformation campaign rather than an information campaign. And what ended up happening is it just ended up polarizing everybody and exacerbating the extremism that already existed. And I'm conflicted about how to fix that, because in the old days, the old media, there were gatekeepers that decided, who got on and who got to disseminate, the things that they said, publishers and networks that would decide whether or not you were heard at a broad level. I mean, if you still had freedom of speech, but if you were just a regular guy that wanted to practice it, you'd have to go on the street corner. Now, pretty much anybody can be heard if they go viral, or if it catches on. Like, there's no gatekeepers anymore. And what we're starting to see is the revival of gatekeepers like YouTube and Twitter, and banning people.
I think what fucking kills me the most about that, though, is that so both the gatekeepers and the challenges to the gatekeepers have these super polarized visions where, I mean, it sucks, because if you come out and say like I am an absolute champion of free speech, right? That by default now means, oh, I want I want these fucking, I want racists to talk about how like race mixing is bad. And it's, on the one hand, if you're actually like supporting free speech, yeah, you have to support that, but it doesn't mean you promote it. It doesn't mean that like you're in favor of it. But
Yeah.
because of that, like, and this is the weird thing too, is because conservatives typically have been the ones to say free, like, the best way to have a market that works and capitalism and all that is to let companies do what they want. And
Right.
and now companies, even though it's, in social media side, it's genuinely catering to, when you see like catering to a woke market, right? So like, all right, we're not going to allow any racist shit here. All of a sudden now that becomes a violation of free speech. I mean, I still remember Sargon's hanging out with millennial woes, and it was funny because the shit he said there, I mean, if you compare that to him hanging out with millennial woes and saying, "Oh yeah, Heather Heyer had a fucking heart attack. It wasn't the car that killed her." Oh, okay, that makes it better. That's fine. But that's like, it's sad because that's become the banner for free speech. When it is genuinely challenging authority, that goes on the back burner because nobody gives a fuck because it's not controversial. It's not hype. It's not fucking, oh my God, they're silencing InfoWars. How dare they? And it's weird because I find myself caught in this like weird middle ground where I'm like, on the one hand, InfoWars should be free on an idealistic level to spout whatever horse shit they want, or Millennial Woes, or Lauren Chen, or all of them, right? But then on the other side, I'm like, like the internet is a place typically where desperate, lonely people go to get answers so they can feel like they have the power of knowing what's going on. And then they get someone like that coming along and saying, oh yeah, it's the foreigners, it's the blacks, it's the Muslims who are ruining your life. And even though they're full of shit, that fills those people with so much righteous fucking sense of themselves. It's like it's like these self-empowerment cults. And so it's one of these questions like, should we allow people to be stupid enough to destroy the world, or should we try and save the world from stupid people?
Yeah, like in the old days, free speech meant, letting the KKK do a march and having everyone yell obscenities at them, and then they're kind of going about their way, and there's no new KKK members as a result. But now freedom of speech means that racists can actually get traction and create movements online that creates new racists, and they actually have power. And there becomes a conflict of rights involved where you have to decide, all right, these two rights are paradoxical. Which one do we favor? Do we favor the property rights, or do we favor the free speech rights? Because if you want to force companies to provide accounts, server space, whatnot to these people, well, I mean, where's that going to take us? So now we're going to, obligate companies to host people they don't want to host. On the other hand, you have the practicality of free speech nowadays, where essentially to not be able to speak your mind on the internet means nobody is going to hear you for all intents and purposes. That's where it is nowadays. We're moving from an offline to an online world.
Yeah.
So it's
Well-
a conflict between speech and property, really.
I think it's the UK that fucks it up a lot, at least for like the English-speaking Western Hemisphere, because like Count Dankula, I like Marcus. Like personally, he's a friend of mine, right? I've even raised money for his legal defense. Now, that case that was against him was obscene. It was genuinely obscene because he wasn't even being genuinely racist. He was making a joke. And I thought it was like, it was like a low-tier fucking, YouTube joke. But it was still funny enough to warrant. It's like I know him. Like, the only people Marcus hates are people who, at this point, say we want to put people in jail for making jokes. That's his like base mantra. But because of everything that got poured into his case and this whole, oh, you shouldn't have a right to make racist jokes thing. Then we end up at a point where, he's actually even been pushed. And it's like, Sargon's thing, that was more about money and fame. Like, that's why he was like, hey, millennial woes, I'd love to suck your dick. But, Marcus has been pushed further and further into that UKIP InfoWars bullshit, largely because his off-color joke, it was off-color. And I'm not going to say it wasn't, but I'm also going to say, like, he shouldn't have been he shouldn't have been prosecuted or arrested for it. And it's this sad thing where, like, the extremes keep controlling all of the argument. So on the one hand, you've got, like, this woke power that wants to quash anything that's offensive. And then you've got this, like, edgy boy offensive side that is happy, just like with Gamergate. In terms of Gamergate, started off opposing bad journalism and supporting free speech. It turned into this, like, oh yeah, and also the muzzies shouldn't come into our country bullshit. These sides, these orthodoxies, feed into these stories to the point where they become avatars and icons for dog shit ideologies, simply by simple virtue of the fact that they were there when everyone could see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a lot of times the reaction can drive people into the opposite direction than you intended, based on how harsh you are. Now, I think that for some people, it's a kind of weakness on their part where they feel slighted, so they're going to abandon all their principles and join the other side. I mean, there's no integrity in that.
Or they get enough money to make it worth their while.
Right.
No.
And the flip side to that also is there's some merit to being diplomatic and not just immediately assuming the worst of people and ostracizing them for it.
Well, I think on this point, it's actually because I've got people lined up and I'm going to start bringing them in. But in the same way at the opening of the show, Habib was saying that he just decided to withdraw from and not participate in those discussions because of how it was co-opted.
Yeah.
In this discussion, Habib, you have the last word. And then I'm gonna bring about the notion of like free speech of it being co-opted. I mean, like, if you could come out and say people should have the right to make fun of Islam, and you'll have a whole horde of people who literally want to cut your head off. And then at the same time, you can say that it should not be said that all Muslims are murderous ISIS cunts. And then you'll end up with a whole bunch of people who say they support free speech saying you should have your fucking head cut off.
Yeah, I think I made a comment that's pissed a lot of people off. And it was one of those comments that I intended to purge my Twitter following because of.
But it just
because, yeah, I did attract a lot of right-wingers. And it was when it was one of those times when the whole idea of burning flags was all over the news and social media. And I was like, yeah, the same people who would happily burn the Quran any day of the week are now angry because some people are burning a piece of cloth. And they got mad at me. They're like, you don't really support, it's not about the flag, it's about what it means. And I'm like, yeah, it's the same with the Quran. It's not about the paper, it's about what it means to these people. And yeah, say whatever you want to say about Islam, but as a religion that people live by, it means a lot to them. And again, trying to inject nuance into things is difficult, because if you want to praise anything about Islam, people are like, oh, he's an apologist. But Islam does instill in people the idea of respecting your neighbor, charities, and common humanity is an overarching theme when it comes to Islamic teachings. So when people see others burning the Quran, they see it as a rejection of that, especially when it comes to Muslims. So I understand why they get so enraged. I think people should have the right to burn the Quran, but they also should have the right to burn the flag. And if you present these two ideas to someone, especially from the right wingers that Nick was describing, they would always try to find a way to be like, yeah, but it's not really the same now, is it? Some people would be like, well, because it's a taboo to burn the Quran in Islamic nations, so that's why it's kind of praised. And I'm like, it is, but who cares? At the end of the day, burning books, I'm just against burning books in general. Like, if it's the Quran or it's the Mein Kampf, I don't care. Don't burn it.
Or burned
Just
if you
don't.
fucking want. Because the idea lives beyond the book or the flag. And if you're that weak and scared of your idea breaking down because somebody burned a piece of paper or a handful of cloth, then how strong was your idea to begin with?
Yeah, I just hate burning books in general. Like it's as an aesthetic, it just feels like there are better ways to protest against Islam than burning a book.
Well, hearing an Arab tell a Jew that, I'm hard pressed to disagree.
Stop the ass kissing with
you. Well, I mean, you're a Jew, but you still enjoy bacon just as much as I do.
I'm
I'm
as much a Jew as you're a Muslim these days. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Only difference is Israel isn't going to put a bounty out on my head. So
yeah, I mean, it's a bit too late for me. I can't even go back to Saudi anymore. Well, but it is what it is.
Darkmatter. I would genuinely recommend you actually hook up with Habib here, because if you've never spoken to him before, he's been one of my best friends for about 5 years now. 6 years? 6 years, yeah. 6 years now. He's good people, very well thought, very well spoken, and he also knows his way around good video game stream. I think you two should hook up, and actually I think Habib should voice Mohammed in all of your cartoons from now on.
Well, send me a link on the Discord to your Twitter and all that.
Will do.
Yeah. Well, Habib, I'm gonna dump you now. So, any final thought, real quick? Anything?
No. Well, I mean, guys, you know where my Twitch channel is. Go follow it.
Yes, there we go. Go find Focus Break Habib on Twitch. He's done actually daily fucking there's Skyrim streams. So I'm gonna dump you now so I don't offend you too much. Wait, didn't work. There we go. Yeah, there's Skyrim streams, so you know what to expect. But let's see here. So next up, gotta go to the random number generator, cause I gotta be fair, because I already got my minority quota in. All right. Breadmaster PBJ. There we are. How goes it, homie? How goes it?
Fairly good. What about you?
Oh, it's vociferously good, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know it's a bit of a serious conversation tonight. A little heavy, but then again, I couldn't be bothered to put shit together because I can't be funny because my back is broken. So.
Well, Nick, at that point, it makes me not have to think about what's going on with my life to tell you.
Oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on with your life. It's probably felonious.
Is it?
I don't know. That's why I remain ignorant about it. But you ever catch any of Darkmatter's videos before?
Oh, long time ago. It's been a while.
I always hear that.
No, it's not that. It's just usually what happened over the past year and a half. I just tried to distance myself away from the atheist YouTube thing, because after a while it's we've gotten to a point where it's the exact same thing over and over again, and y'all are going in weird ass political directions that I have no affiliation with.
Yeah. Understood.
Kind of makes you miss the good old days when you could just call God a fag and be done with it.
Yeah, now you can't be done with it. Now I gotta burn a flag and be yelled at.
God is fabulous, by the way. And here's the other thing too. Here's the new. Oh, by the way, if you want to steal this Darkmatter, I just give me an associate producer credit in the title. Yeah, but the thing is God is all things, right? So therefore, God needs an omni-gender bathroom. Because sometimes God's stuck at O'Hare and God needs to take a shit. But God's like, I am all things. Wait, I can't go into one of
Wait,
these
if God
bathrooms.
is all things, he is literally shit.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
God needs to put his omni shit in an omni-gender bathroom.
Well, he's omnipresent, so he's already in all
He's already
bathrooms.
watching you masturbate, even.
Oh
though
my God. God weighs in on the bathroom debate, and then it comes into because he's omnipresent. God is already in all the bathrooms. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not alone when you take a shit. You think you are, but you're not.
No.
You
And
may
I
have
did a
considered, but he
video.
didn't.
I have a video of God watching somebody shit because he's omnipresent. Yeah.
I want to see God roll off a plane from like L.A. Rolls into O'Hare, just like rolls up on like a TSA agent. Like, listen, I saw there's a big security line to get back in. Is there a place I could smoke? Nah, man, but I mean, like, if you go and do the high school thing in the bathroom, I can't stop you. Cool. God just goes into the bathroom to start smoking. What the fuck? Oh my God. It's not even your vagina in this men's room that bothers me. It's
I'll
that.
be honest with you.
What have you been eating?
I'm kind of retarded.
Oh wait, you've been eating me because I'm all things.
It's like, oh my God, wait a sec. You've been eating me because I am all things. I never wanted to be Sabaro. That's why it's coming out so weird.
I didn't consent to being Chipotle. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
When the fuck did Arby's even happen? I thought that was the other guy's job. Devil's
Oh, wait,
like,
that's right, I actually-
yeah,
That's right. I thought it was Jack in the Box, not Arby's.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah. Satan's like, nah, I did Carl's Jr.
Oh god.
Look at this, man. We need to collaborate. I'll write terrible cartoons when I'm drunk, and then you'll make them.
You need to collaborate. We need to find out what Jordan Peterson thinks of this argument now.
Oh my God, yes. I want Jordan Peterson to walk in the bathroom while a bunch of people are trying to take a shit and God and Satan are arguing over who the bathroom belongs to.
I want him to describe to me what Jungian archetype am I while I am taking a shit.
Thing is that when you're dropping yourself one of those, cisgender or transgender deuces, you're building a house, and in that house is a bedroom, and in that bedroom you need to clean that bedroom. You need to get that bedroom clean before you hit that flush knob, and then you'll know who you are.
I'll tell you what I think about it. I think you were never a bloody atheist to begin with.
I don't think you were an
God.
atheist to be.
I
You gotta go.
honestly-
You gotta go with the back of the throat, Kermit. Just try it.
I
Try it.
gotcha.
Try it. Try it.
Cocaine. Take cocaine all the time.
Take cocaine all the time, but when you're done with the cocaine, ask yourself, was it worth doing? Did that
you
dance?
forgot?
Did that make anything in my life more beautiful than it was before? And then you say, cocaine makes everything beautiful, and you do more cocaine. Basically, as your psychologist, what I'm telling you is you will never be content until you've done more cocaine than your body can handle. Okay. I lost about lost a bit of audience with that, but I'm proud of it.
I don't know. We're sitting at 20 people. I think you actually might have gained a couple.
I did not hear the word bucko uttered once, so I don't,
Bucko.
Oh, fucking get that cocoa, bucko. Fucking blast that line out. I am tripped to the fucking moon right now. I've done so many Jaeger shots, I don't even know my own name anymore.
Jaeger's disgusting.
all of a sudden he turned into William Wallace.
Yeah, right. No, he's just gonna turn into I just want to see Jordan Peterson on an episode of Letterkenny.
God.
That's what I want to see. It's like,
I want to know what Jordan Peterson thinks of grill marks.
you heard about Ginger then, right? What's that? Ginger fucked an ostrich, allegedly. Allegedly. Now, having sex with an ostrich, that says a lot about what you think about your mum.
Damn it.
Because Young said if you fuck an ostrich, you got a big dick. That's what they say. I can see that. I'm feeling this. I like this direction we're going in here. This is a good improv workshop.
Are you aware of what Dostoevsky said about ostriches?
He said if you ever try and fuck an ostrich, it better be fucking sick. That way you can have only two guys. And Dostoevsky said, takes the whole Red Army to take down one ostrich so you can fuck it.
That's the Australian army.
Yeah, because there's so many ostriches in Australia. You fucking fuck off, you creationist piece of shit. Listen, Noah never
Actually,
landed on.
Australia's a myth. Okay, it doesn't exist.
Wouldn't that be funny if, like, actually all of the weird animals that live there, it turns out Noah's Ark was a true story. But, like, back in the day, there was nothing but these primordial weird animals that existed. And Noah took them all into his ark and sailed to fucking Australia. I was like, here's where I'm going to make a giant punchy rabbit. He needs a better name. All right, fine, kangaroo. That's a kangaroo.
I'm gonna make this dog-looking thing.
Yeah,
It'll be a dog.
Well, that's the thing is, like, you know, the entire time, like, when King David led the Jews through the desert for the war, I don't know, I haven't read too much. But what I'm saying is that when it happened, right, they had a fleet of punchy rabbits. That's what they were originally called in the original Aramaic, punchy rabbits. And what we find out is that that was kangaroos. And they were saved by Noah, when God made the whole earth drown. And then Noah took kangaroos off to the promised land of Australia. And then smaller versions of them came out called dingoes. And then them dingoes ate all the babies because they were trying to do circumcisions. But every time they dragged the little bastard off by his prick, well, you know, it just sort of clung on. And that's how circumcision happened. It wasn't Abraham's like, I'm going to slice my dick off to prove that my perfect God put too much dick on my son. It's that I'm just going to let this small dog drag my child off by its dick, and if half of that dick comes off while he's dragging him away, well, then I've got a perfect son.
And that's how we got the Aborigines.
Okay, you just had to get fucking racist with it, did you, Brad? Jesus.
Jables is in charge of all the pedophilia. I'm in charge of the racism.
Oh, I didn't know you guys switched jobs.
You were the one that switched our jobs.
I can't be expected to remember what I do in this Discord. Fuck me. Anyway, Darkmatter, what do you want to tell Breadmaster about why he's wrong about shit? Come on.
I would love to hear it.
I did not anticipate having to weigh in on the kangaroo Noah's Ark fucking Aborigine connection, so I am not well read on it. And
fine, I get it.
Do more research.
I get it. You're a shitty atheist. You don't realize.
Oh God, didn't do your research, man.
Yeah, you don't know how to write fan fiction out of the Bible. That's
God damn it.
That's the ultimate atheism right there. It's like writing fan fiction out of the Bible. It's like, yes, and then Noah said, I'm going to put a motor on this bitch. And then he sailed all the way to the Keys. See?
My problem with Bible fanfic is that when the furries get a hold of it, it turns sexual real quick.
That's your problem with Bible fanfic. It's not the fact that people
happen with every fanfic.
Yeah, exactly. You know, right now there's a fucking J.J. Abrams universe of the Bible because like Disney owns the Bible now, and they're gonna do the same thing they did with Star Trek with it. And
I know Disney owned the Bible. That's impressive.
Yeah. No, there's a Kelvin timeline.
Would be pretty good.
Yeah, a Kelvin timeline in the Bible, right? It's like
I just want Val Kilmer to be God again, man.
No, I just want to see a Bible version where what's his name didn't slice up his son's dick for the first time. Therefore, that never became a thing. Therefore, all of the harlots of the Bible are actually kind of cool because the men have full-size God-given dicks. And they're like, I ain't got nothing to complain about. Let's not go to war. And then like, no, we're going to go to war. Nah, just come here and get that good pussy with that huge uncut dick. And we'll not go to war. And that's the Bible. It's everyone getting along because everyone's fucking in the right way.
So you're trying to say that if Disney took over, they would make circumcision, they would get rid of circumcision by rewriting the Bible and... All right, never mind.
And you're right. And finally, Disney would serve a good purpose outside of bolstering Nazi propaganda.
I just want to hear Mickey's sermon on Splash Mountain.
Ha 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 ha! Listen, keep those dicks intact, boys. Ha ha! Keep your ladies happy, and the world will be fine. Ha ha ha! By the way, the Germans aren't up to anything. Leave alone. Nobody likes the Jews. Ha! You know? Yeah. Yeah. I can see it working out. Honestly, I think Mickey Mouse would make a better Messiah than Jesus Christ, because Jesus never got up and said, listen, by the way, don't kill all of my ancestors or my descendants.
The difference between Jesus and Mickey is Mickey got laid.
Well, also, Mickey is real.
That's who.
No. Ha ha! Ha! Let the lesser be the first and the first be the lesser. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, if you can afford to get into my my parks, that's as close to the promised land as you'll ever get. Ha ha! They don't.
Watch as he just goes into his boat and just drives off.
Guess what they don't have in paradise, bitches? Splash Mountain. Ha ha ha! Epcot Center. It's kind of purgatory.
Universal is the great Satan.
Tries to baptize Donald Duck, but all the water just comes off because he's a duck. And,
oh shit! This isn't working. Oh fuck! I guess you're doomed. You're gonna maybe your nephew Darkwing Duck will be forgiven. Now we're talking.
Duck is King Solomon. Let's do this.
See, this is what internet atheism has to be. Pure humor. Pure humor, comparing it to the Disney universe. Ha 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 ha! Guess what? Captain America's a saint. Not my rules. Ha! And you know we're only about 12 years away from that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like fucking Pope Francis is gonna die, and it's gonna be like the resurrected. It's gonna be a clone of Walt Disney. Like, yeah, he's been Catholic the whole time. Listen, he hates Jews. Oh, that's all? Okay, yeah. No, he hates Jews. Anyway, yeah. He's the new Pope. Cool. Let's put out that white smoke. No, white smoke. It's like, haha, those are the ashes of.
I want to know how many popes have actually been elected just because they got sick and tired of being locked in a room together.
Well, they did elect a Nazi Pope, so, I mean.
I thought the Nazi Pope was elected beforehand. It just turns out the Pope became a Nazi.
Well, I just love the fact that the Catholic Church's overall record, electing a Nazi Pope is, like, kind of the least of their sins. Like,
you know, in the great course in the great course of history that is the Catholic Church, the worst part is you're wrong, or not. You're not wrong. Sorry.
Haha! You don't have to zig. But you do have to hail. I just love how like Mickey Mouse in the course of this conversation has become both the head of the Nazi Party and the Catholic Church.
Who's in charge of each branch?
The real test of your ability is if you can give me a Jordan Peterson Mickey Mouse.
Haha. Clean your room. Ha. Faggot. Ha. Ha.
Oh my god.
Did you not hear? Put your genitals inside of a man. Ha. 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 You know, you go to hell. Ha.
That seems more natural than the actual Jordan Peterson accent for him.
Well, that's the thing, is Jordan Peterson is naturally the Joker. He wants to laugh at everything. He's like,
ha, folks, listen, chaos is the only, chaos is your enemy, but honestly, give into it. Like, you know what? Yeah, you know that single mom who says she's on on birth control. Yeah, you don't need to do raw dog that shit. Raw dog it, and then run from the consequences. Running, because that's what God wants. He said, "Be plentiful and multiply." I didn't say pay for that shit.
God.
He didn't say pay for that shit.
I want to know what would happen if
You
Jordan
need to be-
Peterson read the divine comedy
No.
while on cocaine.
I want Jordan Peterson to get back on benzos, and then I want him to have a regular spot on Mad Money. Just like,
Why?
You gotta buy all these stocks. None of these people have any morals, but they're gonna make a lot of money. Okay, now buy Disney stock right now. Go ahead and buy all the Disney stock you can, because the thing is half of the people playing goofies are convicted pedophiles thanks to coronavirus. Their hiring standards are lower now. They only pay $8.25 an hour to play Goofy. And they might rape some of your kids, but that's a risk you're going to have to take, bucko. Because life without risk, it's not worth it. There we go. Disney, Jordan Peterson, Catholic Church.
All connected. It's the Illuminati now, guys.
Yep.
We're just gonna find a way to fit the flat Earth in here.
I just love how right now, the career YouTube atheist has nothing to say. It's like you've left me speechless. You've covered Catholic rape, Jordan Peterson, and Disney. I got nothing. I'm gonna go
And
work
the Nazis.
I'm gonna go work at a Panera Bread now.
I can't do my next video idea because you basically stole it. I was gonna do the Jordan Peterson Mickey Mouse Nazi, but that's cliche now.
Yeah.
Well,
Fucking.
it's okay. You'll get paid more for it.
Oh. You know what? A. Brett is right. B. I hate Brett. You're never invited on the show again.
Okay. I
I like-
wait for you to
I like how you're like, oh shit, really? I don't have to worry about this shit anymore? All right, thank Christ. This is worse than being Steve Martin holding up Martin Short. God damn. Still,
This is worse than Bad Boys for Life.
I think we've, I think in this conversation here, we've come a long way. I think we've really established some honest truth. Basically, Jordan Peterson is a tool of the devil on loan to the Disney Corporation to push Disney Plus so you can watch Avengers Endgame for the 5th time.
In Russian.
In Russian. Wait, no, that's Pirate Bay. Fuck you. Anyway.
Okay.
Brad, anything to
Yeah.
say?
Now that hasn't already been said.
Good! Then
Okay.
You're banished to hell.
Okay.
You see, this is the fun thing about being in charge of a Discord is like you're kind of a god. So you start wondering, maybe God does exist and maybe he's me, right? Totally healthy. And totally healthy. All right, we got Crab coming in. Crab, make it quick because I've got other people who want to come in and I need to take a piss, so.
Get quick. I guess. Don't criticize Jordan Peterson. He's a saint.
Cool, that didn't take long. Crab is now in the dead room. Okay, how was your time in purgatory, Crab? Are you ready to repent?
No, I guess I'll.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I was just being a contrarian fuck.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you could have gone a little harder. You could have gone in and been like, listen, Mike Cernovich is, the Muhammad of our times. He went and sat in a cave.
Listen, okay,
and he
Adolf
was
Hitler wasn't that bad, okay?
Wow, hang on. I'm sorry. I give you Mike Cernovich and you go straight to Adolf Hitler. Okay. That's...
I haven't read Cernovich, all right.
Listen, Cernovich can't read, so it's fine.
I was gonna go like the Bill Hicks route. Hitler wasn't crazy. He was just an underachiever.
Well, you fucked that up, didn't you?
I don't know. I guess I did. I'm a fuck up, all right?
All right, Crab.
Fucking sue me. I don't know.
I won't. You don't have any money. Anyway, off you go into the post-meep room. All right, let's take a look at what not Meep has. This guy's German, so he might get a little Nazi on you, but it's okay.
Not necessarily.
I love how you qualify that.
So if you hear me going Nazi on anybody, it's my cat who decides to be a little cunt right now.
He cut the tip off of his own cat's dick just so he could oppress him and
My
feel
cat
okay
is
about
a
it.
female. She doesn't have a dick.
Oh,
Never
so
had one.
all right, so he can oppress her and feel okay about it. Anyway,
Well, yes, that's just because she's an animal.
okay, I guess that's all I
needed to hear tonight. It's a she. She's just an animal. I'm okay. Okay. Anything you want to push, promote, or shill? Because I'm honestly like running out of time here.
If you wanna see the best Jordan Peterson voice spot video, I put it in a live show chat
Okay.
some time ago. It's like 50 seconds.
Well, actually, do me a favor, actor. Can you find that and DM it to me? I will play us out with that. I will play us out with that.
I can, and I will. Just a second.
We went. I'm gonna put you in the post meet room. You're gone. Goodbye. But no, go get. There we go. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. See, I'm a good host. That's why this show survives. Jables.
Yeah, just rushing through everybody like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I was told it's a bad idea to have too many people in the show at once, and also, like I am in so much pain right now. I really want this to be over.
Darkmatter, my favorite video of yours is the greater insult. I share that with just about everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Throwing that out there. Really like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Continue.
Oh, you just want me to shill stuff now?
Yeah, if you want. I am literally.
Yeah.
I'm like counting the seconds.
Twitch.tv/Lesser of Discord every Friday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do a show right before this one for the Friday show. Yep.
You could have stretched that out. I've still got 4 minutes.
Oh, you've still got 4 minutes? Okay. Well, I can shill other stuff.
Well, do you want to ask Darkmatter anything? I mean, Christ, you're a fan apparently. But
I am a fan. Probably one of the only atheist YouTubers that I still follow.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that TJ doesn't do it for you anymore?
TJ doesn't even post videos anymore, really.
Oh. Well, that shows how much atheism I've been paying attention to.
Yeah, and besides, like a lot of the old atheist YouTubers started going all political and everything.
Culture
one thing I like about your videos, Darkmatter, when you go political, you treat it more like thought experiments and exploring the ideas, as opposed to just being like, these people are wrong.
Yeah, I should do more of that. I got to be careful not to go into that direction of, team politics. I don't like team sports in place of politics.
Yeah.
Unless politics was actually team sports.
You dip your toe into it a little bit, but not nearly as much as the other people I used to follow did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well,
wait, Rich, that's fine.
Well, invalid username actually just donated $100. So I'm sorry, Apfel. We got whatever I'm playing myself out tonight with. I did want to ask though, because I'm coming back down to earth now that I'm in lots of pain again. Were you an animator before YouTube, or did you get into animating for YouTube?
No, I got into animating for YouTube. I had no experience with it until YouTube. So the first cartoon on my channel, the very first upload, was my first attempt at animation. And it's pretty bad.
Well, all of our initial I've been on YouTube for about 5 years, and I looked back at my old videos, and I didn't even animate them, and they're bad. They're bad.
Yeah,
but
it's true of most people.
Well, are you
mine are still bad.
Well, because we're on an open stream, and I know animators love it when people ask this. How many voice actors are you looking for? Everybody, flood his DMs right now. They're open. Send your best voice clips.
Yeah, the nice thing about being me is that I can get people to do that actually want to do voices for free. Otherwise, I would have to pay for it.
I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about people being funny on a or charming on a show for money, not money. Jables, you get nothing.
Oh.
He's like, oh, yeah, and meanwhile he's like, haha, joke's on you. I know you don't get shit. But no, invalid username actually did donate $100 just now with a YouTube video. I'm worried this is just gonna be like, what is it gonna be? I can only wonder. Will play myself out on this, but well, fuck. This has actually been kind of a Monday show. It's been kind of a show. It's not bad. Well done, me. I'm proud of me. Shh, everyone else, stop. I'm taking a moment for me. It's wonderful. But so if none of you have seen it, go check out. Actually, fuck it. I'm just gonna put it in the. I'm just gonna go find that shit. If you haven't seen Darkmatter shit, if you want to know what atheist YouTubers are supposed to be like, I'll say honestly, without puffing you up, yeah, this is kind of it.
I already had his channel pulled up, so I'll just drop the links for you.
Thank you, Jables. I was just doing that, and even moving around just to type is painful.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, a day ago you streamed. What is this? Our woke politics replacing religion, featuring Sargon and Darkmatter. Oh no, that was PSA Stitch. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I talked to Sargon about that stuff. Yeah.
And how'd that go?
All right. I mean, it's a bit of a frustrating conversation because we're looking at it from wildly different perspectives,
and it's 6 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, well, we weren't there the whole time.
Oh,
it was from the beginning to maybe like I think 3 hours in. But yeah, and I'm kind of in hostile territory a little bit. So like you see the chat and they're saying really dumb things that I wish I could go back in time and tell them why it's dumb, but I can't do that. So that's frustrating.
Well, it's this is the problem. Is like you didn't give in to the money and the fame, dude. You could have been a top tier member of the MAGA set. If you'd have only just, given in to the money.
Some things are more important to me than money, though. Like I mean, I would not be able to sleep at night, if I did something like that.
Well, haha, because I'm not able to sleep at night anyway.
That's the point, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, in the chats, both YouTube and Twitch, I have dropped the links to his channel. Go and look at his channel. I still watch it. It's fun in that old school way too. If you've been like watching YouTube that talk shit about people's deeply held beliefs and why they're dumb, and there's plenty of room for that. But Darkmatter has been doing it in a fucking classy and artistic way for over a half decade now, and there's loads of good shit. None of it beats you over the head too, and I'm like, don't get too big a head, but I'm complimenting you here. But but no, I mean, like, he's one of the, he's got a style to it where he's not beating you over the head with the message. He makes really well done animations, apparently all on his own without training, that he taught himself how to do, just to give parables, really, to give rational parables in which, if you come to a different conclusion at the end of the story than he did, well, then good on you, you're wrong. But but very well worth a look, and I wholly endorse the channel, even though he doesn't need my help. Jables,
I was saying, a lot of it's framed as something to think about, not like you need to think this way.
Yeah, and some of them too, especially like the apocalyptic stories that you've done. Like, men wandering around in the wastes, wondering how things went wrong. It's solid. It's solid philosophical parable. Very much worth your time. If you've continued watching this show and you have any like desire to at least pretend you're still an intellectual, it's a good place to go. Check it out. Links are in the chats there. Jables has told you, go and watch the pre-show. Happens every Friday at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific.
7:30, 4:30. But yeah.
7:30, 4:30 Pacific. Yep, go check out the pre-show. Once again, check out Darkmatter's channel. And I guess in this sense, I'm going to leave you with the last word, Darkmatter, before I kill this shit.
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
What a shitty atheist. He just wants you to be he just wants you to be good to each other. What the fuck? That's
When me and Brad first met,
that's not gonna do anyone any good. Oh, okay, I know what this is. So yeah, we're gonna watch some good centrist comedy. It's racist versus woke guy. We've all seen this video, but you know what? It's $100 worth of video I'm gonna play for you. God damn it.
Hey, is this the one that I think it is? The one where they're wearing the blue shirts?
Yep. Is that one alright?
It's just recommended the other day.
Yeah, it's but it's, you know, it's fun. I'll just play us out with that. So
when me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything.
see you guys on Wednesday.
Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
Roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a Coke. Hey, tell them what you told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
Been saying that.
By the way, I'm pausing this at 30 seconds because I'm making commentary. This is a commentary video. I'm making commentary on this. Also, it's in Letterboxd.
For years, stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
I agree, it is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white owned?
White people should be making white foods, like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a mind reader. I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks, and they need to stop appropriating black people's music.
Shaved heads and country music, the way God intended.
You know all white people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
You know, we just kicked a guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop at black businesses.
I guess the only thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hatted white people, I think we can come to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I.
Oh. I love that. All right, that was woke versus racist. Everybody, go check out Ryan Long comedy. Ryan Long apparently kills it. Don't go to his Patreon. He misspelled the link to my Patreon. That's all that was. So go and
That's supposed to be patreon.com/wizardofcause.
Exactly. That's what it's supposed to say at the bottom. It was just like it was a fat finger on his part. He was doing it on his phone. But if you want to give them money for that hilarious sketch, patreon.com/wizardofcause. That's where you go. In the meantime, hey, look, that was a show. That was a show, right? Right?
I think so.
Yeah, you can call it that.
I agree.
Look at that. I got some really hearty fucking support on that one. I feel slightly better. Good night, everybody. I'll see you on Wednesday, or maybe later when I stream Death Stranding and can show you how to rebuild a world by being a cynical fuck. Bye.